Welcome, everybody. This is the MasterClass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of experience in teaching, and I would like to help dispel your doubts, should you have any. Today, we study the chapter Journey to the End of the Earth, written by Tishani Doshi. Tishani Doshi is an acclaimed Indian poet, novelist, and dancer. She is based in Chennai. She was born on December the 9th, 1975, to a Gujarati father and a Welsh mother. She studied in America before returning to India. What does she write on? Identity, belonging, migration, and environmental consciousness. She has been a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature since 2023. She is known for her ability to blend the personal with the political, the local with the universal. She has put together several poetry collections, including Countries of the Body, as well as novels like The Pleasure Seekers. Have you ever thought about the great continent of Antarctica? Tishani Doshi takes us there on a journey of exploration. She spends 100 hours traveling, sometimes by boat, sometimes by car, sometimes by plane. She has to cross 9 time zones. Where has she started from? Madras, present-day Chennai, which is north of the equator. She travels on the Akademik Shokalsky, Russian research ship, which carries not just her, but students across the sea. The destination, Antarctica. When she does reach, she is more relieved than anything else that her journey is at last over. The next emotion that she has is a feeling at how big, how huge, how beautiful this continent is. She wonders, how could India and Antarctica at one time be part the same landmass? She takes us back into history to explain to us. 650 million years ago, there was a supercontinent called Gondwana. India and other places were all centered around Antarctica in the southern hemisphere. Around 500 million years ago, the world was a different place then. All the species of plants or animals at that time are different from what we know today. It was a very warm place. Now, around the time the dinosaurs went extinct, the age of mammals began. Gondwana began to break apart. India left Antarctica, drifted towards Asia and slammed into it, forming the Himalayas. South America drifted and joined North America. The Drake Passage was created. Antarctica was trapped by a cold current that made sure that she was covered under thick sheets of ice. Remember, Tishani Doshi is from India. We know what it is like to live in a hot environment. Here, she has reached Antarctica when 90% of the landmass is ice. There is nothing human to be seen there. In fact, there is no distinguishing characteristics. Things which we are used to seeing, like trees, like billboards, like buildings, are simply not there. The difference in the scale is immense. You have creatures as small as a tiny mite, to animals as huge as the blue whales. Even the icebergs, some are as big as countries. The largest ever measured was the size of Belgium. Sometimes it has 6 months of sunlight. 24 hours because it is now summertime in the Antarctic. There is no nightfall at all. And above it all, there is silence. No sound from anywhere. When the ice floes break apart or the glaciers begin to melt, can you hear noise? Tishani Doshi says that she begins to realize as a human being how small we are. And she thinks what is going to happen to us. Because when she looks at the impact that human beings have had on this world of ours, it is not good. We have been around for only 12,000 years, barely a few seconds on a 12-hour clock. What have we done? We have dominated the seas, the skies, the land. We have developed at such a pace that we have driven extinct many creatures, many species. On top of that, we are polluting the very environment, the very planet that we live on. The burning of fossil fuels, the increase in the human population. We are looking and struggling every day to find more and more resources to feed, to clothe, to look after this population. So what happens? Climate change. What is going to happen in the future? Will the Antarctic ice sheet melt away? Will the ocean currents change? The Gulf Stream is a warm current. Will it become cold? We don't really know. But if we wish to understand the past, present and future of this world of ours, we have to come to Antarctica. It remains the only place in the world which is untouched by human civilization. That brings us to the reason why Tishani Doshi has come. She is working for a program called Students on Ice. It is run by a person called Jeff Green. He used to bring wealthy clients to Antarctica for a holiday. Realizing the impact on the environment that we have caused and the difference we could still make, he has changed his entire approach. What does he do now? He brings students, young teenagers, to Antarctica. Why? When they see firsthand the glaciers melting, when they see firsthand the ice sheets breaking off, they will understand that climate change is not just a phrase, it is not just two words, it is a very real thing. Here, when we are all in school, when we are all in our houses, we just discuss it. We don't really understand what is happening. Too hot? Buy an air conditioner. Too cold? We have a heater. To go to Antarctica is to experience for ourselves what mindless consumption is doing to our planet. That is what Jeff Green tries to do. That is what this program tries to do. It opens students' eyes to the destruction caused by human beings. It hopes that one day these students will grow up to be world leaders, will grow up to be people who can shape the policies of the world and do something positive, cause the planet more harm. It is a perfect place, Antarctica, to study what climate change is doing. Take, for example, phytoplankton found in the ocean. Phytoplankton use photosynthesis. They take in carbon dioxide, they generate oxygen. They are used by various species of fish as nutrition. Other species feed on this fish, others on them, and so on. So you can see the presence of a food chain. There is a hole in the ozone layer. That hole is getting broader. Phytoplankton is being killed off. If that happens, all the marine life is going to be affected. Our whole world is going to be affected. Tishani Doshi points out a very important thing. Take care of the small things, the big things will take care of themselves. That is the moral of the story of the phytoplankton. In the Antarctic, Tishani Doshi gets a lot of time to think about what is happening in this world of ours and how we are destroying it. These thoughts come unbidden. She suddenly gains insights into the planet's way of life. One time, the academic Shokalski was caught in the ice. There was no way for it to go forward. The captain decided to go back, but before he did, he said everyone should get down on the ice and walk. 52 of them got down, all kitted, all dressed up, and they were walking across the ice. White to the left of them, white to the right of them, white everywhere that they could see. And below their feet, the sea. They were walking on frozen ice. You could see crab-eater seals. They were sitting and sunning themselves. She compares them to stray dogs that we see in the shade of a banyan tree. She realizes all life in this earth of ours is interconnected. She goes back. She has to cross 9 time zones. She has to cross 6 checkpoints, 3 different bodies of water, same amount of ecospheres. She's wondering, she's still trying to understand how beautifully balanced this world of ours is. Each species depending on the other. Each one of us connected by this chain of life. Will we ever see a time when Antarctica gets warm? Will we be there present, or will we have gone the way of the dinosaur? Will we be extinct? We don't know. But she still retains hope. Hope that the idealism of the students that she has taken there will change this world of ours one day. She agrees a lot can happen in a million years, but each day can also make a difference to life. Who are the characters? The author herself, Tishani Doshi, describes herself as a sun-worshipping South Indian. Geoff Green, who is the Canadian founder of Students on Ice. The high school students, teenagers in the program who have their lives ahead of them and whom it is hoped will one day understand and help save Antarctica from global warming. The ship's captain, who tells them to go out onto the ice, who makes life and death decisions every day. Finally, there are the scientists, the researchers who study the ice cores and the climate data. What are the settings? The main setting, of course, Antarctica, the coldest continent in the world, the South Pole. The Russian research vessel, the academic Shokalski, it is where the narrator is stationed, her mobile base. What literary devices are used by the author? The first-person narrative of Tishani Doshi. We hear her voice. It creates a feeling between her and between us. Metaphor like walking into a giant ping-pong ball or talking about grasses of the sea. One, a metaphor for the whiteness of Antarctica, and the second for the tiny ocean plants, the phytoplanktons. There is juxtaposition. It gives us the difference between Antarctica's warm past and today's frozen present. The difference between human history and Earth history in time. Personification. When the author refers to Antarctica as her, it gives the continent human-like qualities. There is symbolism. The ice cores that come out of Antarctica is how we can reach back into time to understand about the earth. The small sea plants, the phytoplankton, show how climate change affects the world. There is imagery. Vivid pictures are drawn by the author. White landscape, blue horizon, silence everywhere are but a few of the examples. There is alliteration. For example, the author uses the words coldest, driest, windiest to describe Antarctica and to emphasize its loneliness, its wildness. What are the themes that run through this chapter? The main one, environmental consciousness and climate change. How humans affect Earth's climate and the need to protect our environment, taking Antarctica as what happens when the Earth warms up. There is geological time versus human time. How small, how finite we are compared to the millions of years of Earth's existence. There is the interconnectedness of life, using phytoplankton to show how all of us need to dwell together. There is education, taking these groups of students, taking future leaders on such expeditions, exposing them to what is happening to this earth, will in time lead them to become more responsible human beings, more responsible citizens of this world of ours. That's the chapter then there for you. I do hope I have been able to help. If I have, please remember to like, subscribe and share. There might be others out there who would need our help. Thank you so much for watching.